librarian. And while I knew how hopeless my dreams were, to me Jungkook would always be my hero. Jungkook, tomorrow's the big game, Taeyang. If we win, you'll deserve the credit. You've done a lot for our school. Tae's Pav, not for the school, Jungkook for you. Oh, I wish you could understand how much I love you. Tae's Pav, I suppose every girl or boy, at some time or other, has had a crush on some boy who never even knew he was alive. Well, that was how I felt about Jungkook, our school football star. Tae's Pav, oh, golly. Here comes Jungkook. Why does my heart beat so fast every time I see him? Jungkook. Hi, there. I'd like a copy of Woodward's American History. Taeyang, I'll see if I can find one. I hurriedly stood up to find the book he asked for when someone from his class spoke up in little voice. Jin, well, I'm glad Jungkook is starting to pay some attention to his studies. If he doesn't get satisfactory grades, they won't let him play in the big football game. Taeyang, don't worry, he'll make out alright. I'm not so sure. Between his football practice and all the girls and boys he's partying, Jungkook doesn't have much time for studying. Taeyang, it's no wonder all the girls want to date Jungkook. Saish, he's wonderful. Jungkook was my dream man. But every girl or boy in school was chasing him, so where did I rate? Then one afternoon, Mr. Charles, you're Kim Taeyang, aren't you? Well, I'm Charles the football coach. I want to ask you a favor. Taeyang, of course, Mr. Charles. I looked up in confusion when Jungkook also come beside me, making my heart beat fast. Mr. Charles, Jungkook, here, is our star player. But he's not going to be eligible to play unless he passes his history exam next week. And that's where you come in, Taeyang. Taeyang, don't understand. Mr. Charles, Jungkook isn't going to pass, unless somebody helps him. You're the best history student in the school. How about helping him out with some private lessons? Taeyang, why you want me to be Jungkook's tutor? I stood in surprise while inside my heart jumping with happiness thinking about the later moment. Jungkook, I know it's a lot to ask, Taeyang. We don't even know each other. There's no reason for you to do me a favor. But you'd be helping our school, too. Taeyang, I'll be glad to do what I can. Jungkook, a chance to be alone with the man of my dreams. It seemed almost too good to be true. That night, I couldn't sleep for thinking about it. Taeyang, oh, Jungkook, Tae's Pav, I dreamed about Jungkook kissing me. Really Tae, he kissed you. My mind and heart playing game with each other, making me go crazy with Jungkook's thoughts. And then I made a promise to myself. Taeyang, I won't let this chance go by, without making the most of it. I'll help him to pass his history test. But there's no reason why he shouldn't learn to like me a little, too. Next day, at the library, I spent all my spare time studying up on everything I could find about football. And when I met Jungkook later at the study hall, Jungkook, gosh, Taeyang, I just can't seem to memorize Napoleon's strategy at the Battle of Waterloo. Taeyang, it's really simple, Jungkook. Look at it this way. Taeyang, Napoleon knew that the enemy line was strong at both ends. So he gave the ball to his old guard cavalry, to try for a quarterback sneak over the middle. But the enemy line held and threw him for a loss. Jungkook, say you toss that football lingo around like you really knew it. I'll bet you do, at that. Suddenly his intense bunny eyes stared at me, making me look down shyly. Taeyang, oh, I've been reading up on it. It's really very interesting. Every night for a week I met Jungkook in the study hall. After our studies, Jungkook took me to the soda shoppy. Then a girl walked towards us, looking at Jungkook. Clara, haven't seen you around in a while, Jungkook. Are you out of circulation or what? Jungkook, I've been boning up on my studies, Clara. Taeyang has been helping me, he's quite a teacher. Clara, oh, yes, you can learn a lot from Taeyang. He knows all about the dull subjects. When you're ready for some fun again, Jungkook, give me a ring. We'll go dancing. When that girl left, Jungkook noticed the hurt in my eyes. Jungkook, don't pay any attention to her, Taeyang. She's just showing her cat's claws. Personally, I think you're worth a dozen of her kind. Tae's Pav, Jungkook is just being sweet. He does think I'm dull, he must. I'm not like any of his other girls. I wanted so desperately for Jungkook to like me. Just to please him, I read every book about football I could lay my hands on. And we did find it easy to talk to each other. Jungkook, if we can win the big game Saturday, we'll be in line for the state championship. And then, oh, gosh, Taeyang, I must be boring you to death with all this talk about football. Taeyang, not at all, Jungkook. Tae's Pav, I'm interested in anything that interests him. Sigh. I guess that's what happens when you're in love. At last the day for Jungkook's history exam arrived. I waited outside for the verdict, almost as nervous as though I were taking the exam myself. Taeyang, Jungkook worked so hard. He's got to pass. He's got to. Mr. Charles, if he doesn't, our school doesn't have a chance in the big game Saturday. His words makes me more nervous, and noticing my nervous face he said further. Mr. Charles, whatever happens, though, you did your best. Jungkook told me how wonderful you were, giving so generously of your time. I'm grateful. I just smiled lightly thinking about my bunny boy, and next moment he walked out from his class and come running to me. Jungkook. Hey, there's good news tonight. Jungkook. I passed with flying colors. Thanks to the best little teacher anybody ever had. Taeyang. Oh, Jungkook, I'm so glad. I am really happy for him. He worked so hard for this. He deserved it, and then his next words makes my heart beat fast and cheeks turn red in shyness. Jungkook, I could kiss you for what you did for me. In fact, I think I will. And next moment his lips were on mine, making my whole body tingle up with this new sensation, feeling my first kiss. That's how it happened, as suddenly, as casually as that. But in the middle of that kiss, it stopped being casual. My arms crept around his neck, and I held him close. And when Jungkook released me, there was a new, speculative look in his eyes. Jungkook. Well, you know, I never realized before just how pretty you are. His words make me turn more red with shyness, and his intense eyes doing something to me that can't describe in words, and I felt like drowning in his innocent bunny eyes. When Mr. Charles, come on, Jungkook. He chuckled from behind, like realizing our situation. Mr. Charles, now that you're eligible to play, there are a few instructions for the big game Saturday I want to give you. As he walked away from there, taking Jungkook with him, still his bunny eyes stared at me intensely, that makes my heart flutter in anticipation. Tae's Pav, Jungkook kissed me almost as though he really meant it. I wonder. The next day, Saturday, dawned bright and clear. I went to the stadium along with the enthusiastic, cheering crowd of rooters from our school. Jungkook's name was on everybody's lips, but that name was also in my heart. Was it possible? Could I dare to hope that Jungkook cared about me, too? But when I reached the players' entrance, I saw Clara. Good luck, Jungkook darling. Ella, you promised to me too, Jungkook. All the girls flocking around Jungkook. I should have known. His kiss meant everything to me. But it was just another kiss to Jungkook. Why should I be anyone special in his life when he has so many prettier girls to choose from? I found my seat in the grandstand, and watched with a kind of numb fascination as the game got underway. Tae's Pav, that's Jungkook kicking off, my Jungkook. What a laugh. I'll bet half the girls and boys in this stadium are thinking the same about him. Jungkook played brilliantly, as usual. But our team just wasn't a match for their opponents. Gradually, we were forced back, and the opposing team scored. Jungkook broke through to block a kick after touchdown, and thereafter our team fought on even terms. But with only a few minutes to play in the last quarter, we were losing 6-0. It was then I got my idea. I talked my way past the aisle attendants, and onto the field, where I went immediately to Coach Charles. Taeyang, Coach. I read in a book about a play that Red Grange, the famous football player, used in a situation like this. It might possibly work with Jungkook carrying the ball. Mr. Charles. I didn't know you were experts in football. As I explained my idea, Coach Charles' eyes brightened. Mr. Charles, by golly, it might work. With so little time left, it's our only chance. Anyhow, I'll send in a substitute with instructions for Jungkook to try it. Taeyang, Jungkook can do it, Coach. If anyone can. I stayed with Coach Charles on the bench to watch what happened. I saw the ball snap back, saw the lateral pass to Jungkook. Saw him break away down the field. Mr. Charles. He's in the clear. Taeyang, it's going to be a touchdown. There was a deep-throated roar from the crowd, a roar that died to silence while Jungkook carefully booted the ball for the point after touchdown. Taeing. He made it. I shouted in whole crowd, with big smile playing on my face seeing my love winning the game. Mr. Charles. We win. A few seconds later the whistle sounded, and the playing field was mobbed with Jungkook's admirers. They lifted him with the sound of the cheers ringing in the air. I was glad to have been able to play a small part in his triumph. But I wanted no share in his glory. And Jungkook didn't need me. Now, if only I knew. Somehow, my steps led me to the study hall. To the familiar setting where Jungkook and I had shared so many hours. I stayed there a long time. I'd give anything to turn back the clock. To be here with Jungkook again. But that's all over. I have no place in his life now. My eyes filled up with tears suddenly when they still in my eyes hearing the familiar voice that I could recognize from anywhere. Jungkook. Daydreaming, are we? Taeing. Jungkook. What are you doing here? Jungkook. Looking for you. Coach Charles told me that it was you who gave him that play that won the game. I suppose I'm always going to need you around me, Taeing. His words makes my heart beat fast like knowing the meaning of it. Jungkook came closer and I searched his eyes. It was incredible, but the light that shone there was for me. Jungkook, I knew from the first moment I kissed you. You're the boy I've always wanted, Taeing. I'm just not complete without you. Say you care for me, too. And love me as I love you. Taeing. Jungkook, let me believe it. You love me. Jungkook. Yes, baby. From the moment my eyes fell on you. Your innocent doe eyes and this beautiful boxy smile caught my heart, baby boy. Now say, do you love me like I do? I couldn't tell him in words how I felt. But there was another way to tell him and I did. With all my heart. As my lips met with his for an urgent passionate kiss, that he responded with same passion, pulling me close to his body, showing our love for each other in that loving kiss that makes us forget the world and lost in each other's arms.